Hello, I'm Dr. David Johnson, Professor of Medicine and Chief of Gastroenterology at Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk, Virginia. Well, the American Cancer Society has just published the cancer statistics for 2024. This is an annualized report and has some alarming features as it relates to gastroenterology. And being number one is supposed to be good news. We're number one, and that's not good news. I'll come back to that as it relates to colon cancer. So let's discuss what they report. Well, the good news is, and I'm going to focus only on the GI cancers in particular, but the good news is a broad brush, is there has been an aversion of over 4 million deaths since 1991. So in the last 4 decades, we've seen, as it relates to the potential reduction. Why is that? Because of cancers in general. There's reductions in smoking. There are reductions due to earlier detection, screening, and improved treatments for localized or metastatic disease. But these gains are threatened now by some offsets that we're seeing increasing, and 6 of the top cancers in the last several years have increased. I'm going to again focus on GI here, but the gastrointestinal cancers relates to pancreas cancer. It's 0.6 to 1% increased annually. This is a cancer now that ranks in the top 3 of the worst as it relates to 5-year survival, down to 13%. And in particular, this is something that we do see as a real challenge to screening, in particular for cancer that presents typically with symptoms or signs rather than asymptomatic. As it relates to the liver cancers, there's a 2 to 3% annualized increase in liver cancers, particularly in women. And what we're seeing, I suspect, is more a carry forward of the fibrotic liver disease dating back to the viral hepatitis and the metabolic liver diseases with non-alcoholic fatty liver and advanced fibrosis F3 and F4s that we're seeing carry forward are now starting to emerge with incremental cancer risk. In particular, we need to not subject or let our risk reduction profile down and really focus on screening these people very, very regularly. We still need some better tests in liver cancer screening. What I really want to focus on is colorectal cancer. So just to put in perspective, in the late 1990s, the colorectal cancer was the 4th leading cause of death in men and women. In the current data, and again, this is extrapolation, use a 2020 database. Again, they use the SEER database in this particular constructing it going to 2024 because of the incremental time it takes to develop cancers. This SEER database suggests that if we prospectively look at 2024, colorectal cancer in younger than 50 becomes, as far as leading cause of death in men, number 1, and women, number 2. Again, we went from 4th, seeing a decrease in colorectal cancer and colorectal cancer deaths in people over the age of 50. Now in the younger population, for lots of reasons, for the epidemiologic than that, but number 1 in men, number 2 in women. There's also evidence from this current report that there's disparities that relate to racial disparities. The mortality rates are 2-fold higher in Black people compared to whites, in particular as it relates to gastric cancer. And Native Americans, the disparity is also evident for gastric and liver cancer. So again, increased need for equity and racial disparities across these populations. But coming back to colon cancer, we went from number 4 in the 90s for younger than 50, and now we're number 1 for men, number 2 for women. This is a travesty. Number 1 is supposed to make you famous. This, in fact, is infamous, and it's a travesty because it's a potentially preventable disease. As we move into Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month of March, hopefully this fires up some of the conversations you have with your younger population that may be reticent or resistant to colorectal cancer screening. We clearly need to get this message out to that population at large because we have to do better. Number 1 is not where we want to be in this disease for potential preventable problem. Dr. David Johnson, hopefully this inspires you to have these conversations with your population in general, but in particular focus on these younger populations at risk. Thanks again for listening.